located in Kano set for takeoff. No Chadian troops on the Nigerian side of the Lake Chad, says Nigerian Army. These and more on Panorama today, coming to you live from Abuja on NTA. I'm Elizabeth Omori. We'll be right back. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control has announced 17 new cases of COVID-19. The breakdown indicates 8 cases in Lagos, 3 in Katsina, 2 in the FCT, 1 in Niger, 1 in Kaduna, 1 in Anambra and 1 in Ondo, bringing the total number of confirmed cases in the country to 305. President Muhammadu Buhari has pleaded for more patience and understanding by Nigerians as efforts are intensified by government towards containing the coronavirus pandemic in the country. At a strategic engagement with the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, the Nigerian leader is optimistic that the curve will be flattened and the nation aggressively and appropriately responds to uncommon enemy of mankind. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
The Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, led by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, acquainted President Muhammadu Buhari with details of the work being done in line with his mandate towards containing the coronavirus pandemic in Nigeria. President Buhari, who expressed satisfaction with the transparent way and manner the task force engages critical stakeholders in carrying out assigned responsibilities, believes that Nigeria will come out of the situation stronger and as quickly as possible.
We had a very, very strong appeal to the Nigerian people for patience, for understanding. We are dealing with an uncommon enemy. We are dealing with an enemy that we can't see, we can't predict. So he appreciates that. And his strong appeal is that as much as possible, we should encourage people to observe the basic instructions that have been issued in terms of keeping social distancing, washing of hands, maintaining cleanliness, and staying at home. If we maintain these basic things, we'll be able to achieve the desired objective. And he also spoke about his desire, seeing that this thing is over as quickly as possible so that our farmers can go back to the land, to till the land. The cropping season is approaching very, very fast because the strength of a nation is its ability to feed itself.
During the meeting held behind closed doors, the Presidential Task Force provided the Nigerian leader with the basic facts on ground as well as options that will guide him in deciding whether or not the cessation of all movements in parts of the country is to be extended. Is Nigeria winning this fight against coronavirus pandemic?
I think we are. I think we are, by and large. The lockdown has tremendously helped us in curtailing the spread of it. And it has given us the opportunity to be able to track the contacts. Over 90% of the contacts of the index case and other cases that arose have been tracked. And their status have been established. It's not everybody that will be tested. It's when you manifest the symptoms that you are supposed to subject yourself to a test. So I think by and large, we are winning in that area. We are not there yet. With the support and cooperation of Nigerians, we will be able to minimize or reduce infection, getting to the level of community transmission. And that's why we are appealing to Nigerians. If you have no business going out, stay indoors. Preserve your loved ones, your family, before you think about going out to make a living.
The chairman of the Presidential Task Force was accompanied to the State House by the National Coordinator of the Task Force, Dr. Sani Aliyu, Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Ihanure, and the Director General, Nigeria Center for Disease Control, Dr. Chikwe Ihekwazu. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And still on containment, there are strong indications that more economic stimulus measures are to be introduced by the federal government towards cushioning the effect of the coronavirus pandemic on the nation's poor and the vulnerable. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo dropped this hint while speaking to NTA News after an audience with President Muhammadu Buhari. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo once again reports.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo is the chairman of the high-powered Economic Sustainability Committee constituted by President Muhammadu Buhari as part of the national response strategy towards alleviating the suffering of Nigerians as the country battles the COVID-19 pandemic. At this meeting, President Buhari and Vice President Osinbajo compared notes on what more can be done for the poor in the face of the stringent measures put in place by government to check the spread of coronavirus in the country. The Vice President told NTA News that discussions centered on how to resolve some of the very pressing issues around COVID-19 and indeed the economy.
What we're concerned about is how to ensure that the economy remains stable, that jobs are protected, and that if even possible, more jobs are created. The President has expressed very serious concern about the problems that may be associated with the lockdown. Many of our people work for a daily wage. They have to go out to work and all of that every day. So we have to think in terms of how to ensure that that we're able to give them some succor during a period when they're not able to work. So some of those issues are some of the issues that Mr. President wanted me to discuss fully with him.
Full report of the Economic Sustainability Committee containing thoughts and ideas of members on the best way forward for Nigeria will soon be submitted to the President. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Nigeria's fight against the coronavirus pandemic is one national response which must not be politicized or compromised with conflicting directives from the states. Chairman of the Presidential Task Force, Boss Mustafa, made this emphasis at the daily briefing in Abuja. Mitari Ikmen reports.
The emphasis on one national response and collaboration to contain the COVID-19 pandemic in Nigeria became necessary following directives by some state governments allowing resumption of religious gatherings in the midst of the pandemic.
We have noted that some states have started lifting their ban or relaxing their containment protocols. And this is really not the right time to do so.
There's so much ground to be covered. We shouldn't allow ourselves to be distracted by unnecessary controversies. I want to once again appeal to all subnational entities to recognize the serious nature of this situation and to synergize with the federal government so that together we could win the war.
Minister of Aviation said the federal government will secure the release of the 2 pilots arrested and detained in Rivers State despite receiving approval for their operations.
So whether His Excellency the governor of Rivers State ought to know if the exempted Caboton flight will be landing in the military base in Port Harcourt belonging to Nigeria Air Force. He does not need to know.
Nigerians were warned against treating symptoms of COVID-19 at home, but advised to report symptoms, if any, promptly to health professionals.
Public and private sector workers must also be reminded to maintain a high index of suspicion and not to treat all cases of cough and catarrh with levity.
We are seeing some early indications on community transmission. We had identified and are following up every day 91% of all the contacts of confirmed cases.
In the meantime, the task force says a national policy on the usage of the face mask will soon be unveiled, while appealing to Nigerians to continually practice personal hygiene and social distancing. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Amidst restrictions and economic hardship occasioned by the spread of COVID-19 across Nigeria, the Cross River State government is preparing for life after this period by ensuring food sufficiency. To this end, the state government has taken delivery of agricultural machinery to boost its industrialized revolution policy in the state. Paul Abel reports.
One common feature in most of the states under lockdown to curtail the spread of COVID-19 is the cry for food, despite promises and efforts of governments to distribute palliatives. to make life return to normal and prevent hunger in the land when the pandemic is over. The state government is encouraging farmers to get to farms while arming them with the necessary equipment for improved modern agriculture.
Agriculture should not be compromised. Food production should not be compromised. That's why I'm out here in hot days with my sweet wife, working very hard together to ensure that we inspect all the farms they are to go to. The seedlings that we're going to be releasing today will go to Kogi and Anambra states, and we're also following up with equipment.
Of what impact will these new equipment make in the agricultural policy of the state?
Without this rotivator, it will be difficult to get the yield that you find in Japan and in other countries in Asia. And that's why I'm introducing all the latest technology that is used over there, and I'm bringing it here.
The governor also commends the federal government for granting permission in the distribution of its rice seedlings to different states, which is ongoing. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
Let's now take you to Katsina State, where no fewer than 142,000 people in the state are currently benefiting from the federal government's 2.8 billion naira social safety fund to cushion the effect of stay at home over COVID-19. Abdul Malik Hassan reports that under the scheme, each beneficiary is to collect 20,000 naira.
The Social Safety Fund scheme was initiated by the federal government with the sole aim of assisting the beneficiaries immensely to be self-reliant. In Katsina State, in an effort to ensure the success of the program and that the assistance meet the target audience, the beneficiaries were selected from the 3 senatorial districts. A total of 142,000 people from the senatorial districts are benefiting from the gesture.
And the total amount disbursed every payment cycle is 1.4 billion. The people in the area, they are responsible to select the poor and vulnerable in their community. So that's how we are selecting we are targeting the beneficiaries.
He called on the beneficiaries to ensure that they make use of the money judiciously. This, he said, they should ensure that they boost their businesses or establish petty trading towards self-reliance. As at the time of filing in this report, the disbursement of the money was in progress. In Katsina, Abdul Malik Hassan, NTA News.
And in Kaduna, about 500,000 vulnerable households will benefit from the disbursement of ongoing federal government's conditional cash transfer. Majama Adamu reports that more than 1,000 households in Kashal local government area of the state have already received their pay, which aims at cushioning the effects of the coronavirus pandemic on the less privileged.
Aisha Muhammad there full of excitement as she receives her conditional cash transfer.
May Allah bless the President. We are grateful for this gesture.
With all steps taken to stay safe from COVID-19 while getting paid, the process was hitch-free. These 2 micro-scale businesswomen have been able to scale up their investments courtesy of their prudent management of the grant, and same revolutionary trend crisscrosses thousands of beneficiary families in the state.
I thank God for this money.
I have commenced small-scale business.
Hawab Razak is a unit head conditional cash transfer office in Kaduna State.
They should use part of it in their various households, and they should use part of what they are collecting for livelihood activities, because they have been taught how to save.
Since inception in 2017, the conditional cash transfer program of monthly 5,000 naira stipends has turned around lives in more than 22,000 households in 9 local government areas of Kaduna State. In Kaduna, Majama Adamu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the federal government says it will keep collaborating with other tiers of government in its quest to contain COVID-19 in Nigeria. Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, George Akume, while inspecting some relief materials for distribution by the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, emphasized that collective responsibility is crucial in fighting the pandemic. Mitari Ikpen reports.
Nigeria has been active in containing the coronavirus pandemic. The Presidential Task Force has been engaging various stakeholders to curb the spread of the pandemic, and series of donations have come from corporate bodies and individuals to complement the federal government's drive. Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, George Akume, says the federal government stands together with all tiers of government to defeat the virus.
I thank our God for this wonderful intervention. Working collectively, awareness on the side, on the part of all of us, these things will continue to flow to where they're intended to be used.
What we have in the cartons is rice, spaghetti, Maggi, and cooking oil. We have around 2,000 cartons, and we distribute them to the different parts of the country.
Besides commending Algon for the initiative, the minister enjoined all Nigerians to continually adhere to all safety tips released by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikwen, NTA News.
You're watching Panorama, reaching you live. Thanks for staying with us. All is now set for the takeoff of Kano Reference Laboratory that will serve as COVID-19 testing center for the Northwest Zone. This came to light during an assessment visit to the facility by the Kano State Deputy Governor. Abdullahi Mustafa tells us more.
Establishment of additional reference laboratories is among the proactive measures being taken by the federal government to curtail the spread of COVID-19. The measure is to facilitate speedy analysis of samples that previously had to be taken to Abuja and few other locations. Established by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, the facility is situated within the premises of the Aminu Kano Teaching Hospital. With the capacity to handle 120 samples a day, the COVID-19 testing center is expected to serve states in the Northwest Zone. Kano State Deputy Governor Nasir Yusuf Gawuna, who also chairs the State Task Force on COVID-19, expressed satisfaction with the development.
The promise that has been made by NCDC has been fulfilled. We are appreciative of the government of President Muhammadu Buhari for doing this and for setting up these centers.
During a meeting earlier, Chief Medical Director of the Aminu Kano Teaching Hospital, Professor Abdurrahman Abbashishi, also disclosed plans to establish another testing center by the Bayero University's College of Health Sciences to complement the one set up by the NCDC. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
A screening test is done to detect potential health disorder or disease in people. That is why it is considered the entry point to any disease management or treatment. Accuracy is an integral part of the whole process. In the face of the coronavirus pandemic, we are taking a look at the quality assurance in testing for COVID-19. Joining me now in the studio is a one-time president of the Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists of Nigeria, Dr. Godswick Okara. It's nice to have you in our studio.
Thank you very much indeed.
All right, wrong lab results goes hand in hand with misdiagnosis, which had been an issue before now that we are grappling with the coronavirus pandemic. Can we afford such mistakes at this time?
Certainly not.
Okay.
That's why it's important to lay emphasis on training, capacity building, both of manpower and infrastructure, so that we will not be caught napping at any time. And that's why also the Medical Laboratory Science Council of Nigeria and the Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists of Nigeria for years now have been talking about quality management system in laboratory practice. The International Standards Organization came out with an internationally adopted code of standards, which is called ISO 15189, that ensures that all the 12 elements of quality management system are upheld in daily laboratory practice. So once that is ensured, you find out that misdiagnosis or wrong results will be reduced to the barest minimum, if not completely eliminated.
Okay, now I'd like to stop you there. At this time, At this point in time, when we are grappling with COVID-19, social distancing is one of the measures. Can you tell us about the dangers of people not observing this for safety protocol?
Yes, it's unfortunate when people think that government is restricting their liberty. It is all for our common good.
Yes.
It is important that people understand that the basic reason for social distancing and for staying at home is to prevent community transmission of the disease. The essence of ensuring that we stay at home is to prevent person-to-person transfer of infection. If you look at what is going on in very advanced countries where they have community transmission of the disease, it is something we shouldn't even dream should come to our environment.
All right. Now, in 30 seconds, what advice would you like to give to the government and your colleagues and Nigerians at this period?
Yes, the need to lay emphasis on capacity building. That's why our professional group pursued the establishment of both the West African Postgraduate College of Medical Laboratory Science, as well as approached the National Assembly to pass the law for establishment of National Postgraduate College of Medical Laboratory Science. Okay. It is so important because when you prepare for the rainy day, when it comes, you will not even feel the impact. The essence of that college is to ensure that we have the diversity of specialists that are needed to confront situations such as we have in our hands.
All right, Godswill, this is the much I can take from you. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now to felicitations. President Muhammadu Buhari is felicitating with all Nigerians on the occasion of the celebration of this year's Easter. In his goodwill message, the president acknowledges the grip which COVID-19 has held the entire world, which is unprecedented in living memory. Majority of Christians have found themselves marking Easter in a subdued manner, away from the usual congregation in churches. This he describes as unusual and very unfortunate. President Buhari enjoins Christian compatriots to rekindle their faith in Christ, who overcame persecution, sufferings, and steadfastness. He also urged the adoption of humanity, discipline, perseverance, and obedience, which Jesus Christ demonstrated during his stay on earth, and gave assurance that with prayers backed by personal and collective discipline, the nation would pull through this most difficult trial. President Buhari also commended the encouraging containment and ameliorating strategies put in place by members of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, while wishing Nigerians a happy Easter. Next is Sports Update.